Awesome. So I heard back from the engine builder, and I've got some numbers. So the engine builder said to play in between 100 and 104 on the intake, and 104 and 110 on the exhaust. Our numbers right now are 104.5 for the exhaust and 96.75 for the intake. So it looks like the intake moved a little bit, and the exhaust could possibly have moved, but it wasn't much if you put it at 104. But if you put it at 110, it did move. So he said mark these two lines and then play in between them on the dyno and see how much power we can make. And it calls for 98 and 106 as the center line on the cam card. So these are some pretty good numbers we got here, and this will be fun. Okay, since the exhaust cam is already at 104, I went ahead and marked it right there. You can barely tell because of the light. But I went ahead and marked it. You can see a little better now that I turned that. Right there, you see that little line? I went ahead and marked it right there on the gear and the upper part. So when I spin it to 110, I can mark it there as well, and it'll be in a different spot, but I'll have markings so I can move it back and forth. And then this one's at 96 right now. Yes, 96, so I need to move it to 100 and then mark it, and then move it to 104 and then mark it again. So gotta do that. Awesome, guys. So I adjusted it and I got the exhaust cam right on 110, and then the intake one I went the wrong direction with. So we got to do that one again, but that's all right. We got this one at 110. Now we'll make the mark. Then we'll have 104 and 110 marked on the exhaust cam, and then we need to roll the intake one over to 100. We're quite a bit off, but we originally were only at 96. Now we're a little more than that, but that's all right. We're gonna roll it over, get it all set up, and it'll be all sick nasty, bro. Dude, this thing is sick. I really enjoy working on this EK hatch. It's dope. So that one right there has got us down to one. Come on, focus. But that says, you can't tell it all, but 101.5. We need 100 and then 104. So we're really close now, way closer than we've been this entire time. And we were just at 107, pretty close to 104, but it's not where we needed to be. And so now that we're there, we're gonna be coming a lot closer. All right, so I got the 100 all set up. Got it marked down there now as well. I turned down here to the 100 because I'm gonna try and just spin it right over to the 104 now that I'm on the 100 and I know where I'm at. I'm just gonna go ahead and loosen these two that I have tight, and then I'm gonna spin it whoop, right to the 104, and hopefully when I check the measurements, it'll be right on. Ah, I hate this stupid. All right, I was super close. It says 105.5. We just got really, really close. We need 104, but we went 105.5, so we got to turn it back just a tiny fuzz, just like we did a second ago when we were 101 and we had to turn back 100. So we're gonna get right there on the money, and then this thing should sing. Awesome, man. We got the 104. So I'm super stoked. It's pretty dang close to where the 100 mark actually is. If you see, I sharpied right there. That's where it was lined up straight, and see, it's just literally right next to it. So on this other side, we're gonna do another Sharpie mark to mark the 104, and then we'll have the 100 and the 104 marked, and the 110 and the 104, and it'll be at 110 and 104. Flashlight just died on us. Awesome there. So it's at 110 and 104. These specs right here, and then we can play between the two on the dyno now that I marked both of those. Or that's what the engine builder from Puerto Rico recommended, and this thing is a beast, so we really want this thing to make as much jam as we can, because I really dig it. All right, so I got it all agreed. Now it's time to just go ahead and put it all back together. I'm sliding the timing cover in there now. I got my bolts right here, and then I'll do the crank pulley and the keyway next. Valve cover, I need to make sure I do a valve lash before I put the valve cover on, and then this thing's gonna get a fresh set of spark plugs as well, so let's get after it. So I'm on to doing the valve lash now. I just spun it over and checked all of the cylinders, and they're 13 on the exhaust side and 8 over here, which are really good numbers. I really like those numbers. So I'm gonna go ahead, I just spun it back over to this one. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this up and then do 13, and then I'll loosen that side up and do the 8. All right, it's all valve adjusted. I just need to go ahead and wipe this oil off right here, put the valve cover gasket back on, and then drop the valve cover on. And this thing will be completely degreed and all fixed up. Pretty sick. All right, all back together. Supply him with some fresh plugs, and then I believe he wants to do an oil change before we do the dyno. The car is on M1, and it looked like it was pretty milky, just a little rich, because you know they require quite a bit of fuel and they make quite a bit of power, so it'll help with the fact that it is a dry deck block. But it does have water going through the head, and it looks like it's gonna be a jammer, so I'm excited. All right, after a good day of degreeing, I've got my laptop all apart here. Here's the back of it. And I was just checking out my port here to see if it was, I already pulled this cover off and I put it back on now to see if it was the port, and it looks like the solder joints themselves are really connected still, really good. And maybe if it's broken inside, but like some of you said, it could be the battery causing it to short out, and maybe the battery is bad, but we're definitely gonna have someone more qualified look at this thing. I'm just I'm just a car mechanic. Sweet little rotary. Tight. Crazy. This is the guy that owns the Civic as well. Well, his brother's car. This is his brother's RX-7. Awesome, guys. It was great to talk to the owner and his brother and check out that super sick rotary. Man, that was awesome. But it was awesome. We got the cams all degreed today. All that's taken care of. So he's gonna do an oil change right before we tune. I got spark plugs in there for him, and I think this thing is gonna be a river, dude. It sounds just awesome. He said now that I degreed the cams that it should sound even better. So I'm stoked to see this thing on the dyno and for it to rip. I hope you guys all get to watch that, and I hope you guys all watch this. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe down below. This is GoofyBuilt. Peace out.